The Seattle Seahawks have brought back former second-round pick Marquise Blair. What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. We've got a little bit of Seattle Seahawks news. Not exactly the most earth-shattering roster news that you could have. I know that a lot of people were probably hoping for a different kind of roster update concerning, say, Connor Williams. But I want to make a quick little video about this one because I find this to actually be pretty interesting. So earlier today, like less than an hour ago, we got word that after a successful physical, the Seahawks are re-signing safety Marquise Blair. This was a 2019 second-round pick, and we cut Jonathan Sutherland to make the move, another safety. So we traded out one safety for another safety, and Blair becomes probably safety number 4 until Jarek Reed comes back. So Marquise Blair is back, presumably on a very small contract, probably minimum for a player of his level of experience. So obviously it's not anything that is going to change the trajectory of the 2024 Seahawks by any significant amount. But I got to admit, I find this to be really interesting, right? Because Marquise Blair, the general belief is that Marquise Blair was somebody that John Schneider really liked, but Pete Carroll did not, which is why Pete Carroll never played him, or at least played him as little as he could. He avoided it whenever possible, and ultimately got him kind of pushed out of town because he just didn't like the guy. And there were reasons why he didn't like Marquise Blair, but there were also some, there were reasons why he didn't like Marquise Blair, and some of them were valid, but some of them seemed just like he had it out for the guy. And I find it to be really interesting now with a brand new coaching staff, but John Schneider still in control, they decide to just bring him right back. I find that to be notable. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, this is the safety of the future. Obviously, our safety of the future is going to be Julian Love because we just gave him a fat extension, and Rayshawn Jenkins is on a 2-year deal now as well. So it's not like a safety spot's going to suddenly open up in the next probably even year. But Marquise Blair is a player who flashed in 2019. I remember this very clearly. And then he was kind of a victim of circumstance. Second game of the year in 2020, KJ Wright accidentally wrecked his, I think tore his ACL on a tackle. And ever since then, he's just barely played football. Like, you go to PFR here, you take a look at Marquise Blair's career, pretty much everything he's done was in that first year, that 2019 season, where he actually got a few starts, actually made some plays, hard hitter. There were some benefits here, but that's really all we have. The next year he had 8 tackles. The next year he had 9 tackles. The next year for Carolina he had 1 tackle. 0 starts. He never started a game after that injury he suffered at the, again, accidental hands of KJ Wright. So there's a lot we don't know. Now, athletically, he's probably never going to be what we thought he was going to be. He had an Achilles tear last year. That's on top of the ACL. I think it was an ACL tear he had in 2020. So he's not going to be the athlete that we thought he was going to be when he was a second-round pick. But there is some stuff with Marquise Blair that I think is at least a little bit interesting. And I'm definitely going to take note of this. I think this is a sign that, yeah, John Schneider liked this guy a lot. And Pete just didn't. And that's what happens when you have a GM and coach that aren't always on the same page. You end up wasting picks on a guy who the GM really likes and the coach just decides, I'm never really going to give him a chance. Blair had some good games in his Seahawks career. That Ravens game in 2019, he was one of our best players on, he might have been our best player on defense. And then after that, it was like he disappeared. So welcome back, Marquise Blair. Again, it's not a massive signing. It's a footnote. It's a little tab on the offseason. But I wanted to draw some attention to this because there was some stuff that happened with Marquise Blair that was outside his control that didn't seem totally fair to me when he was here. Again, the injuries have probably piled up to the point where he's not the same guy, but let's keep an eye on this. Let's see what happens. There's some ability here. Also, just to address it real quick, because I'm sure people are going to ask about this, I know that there's something kind of funky going on with Byron Murphy. He got text. It was implied that he was soliciting the services of a person and then didn't pay them. And there were some text messages that were shown on the internet that implied that he had solicited the services and he owed like $15,000 or something. Anyway, just to address it real quick, as of the information that I have right now, it looks like that it was it was fake. It was a blackmail scheme. It's a fairly common scheme in the NFL and all sports, really, to try to blackmail these players with saying, if you don't give me money, I'm going to embarrass you by posting these fake text message strings online. So if anybody was wondering about this, the Byron Murphy stuff, it looks like it's fake. It's been turned over to the FBI, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it ends up being real or not. But I think Byron Murphy is not guilty of this. So just wanted to say that. I usually don't talk about this weird drama stuff on the channel. This kind of like extracurricular drama, outside football, outside the realm of reality stuff at all. But it's still the off season, and I know this stuff is going to be bumping right now because there's not a heck of a lot else to talk about. But find something better to talk about. We got training camp. Today's day 3 of training camp. We're going to see some cool stuff on the field. So don't worry about this stuff too much. Seems like it's fake, but yeah. Welcome back, Marquise Blair. I'll have another video later today with a training camp, or excuse me, tomorrow morning probably with training camp stuff. Unless something big goes down, still could get the Connor Williams signing. Still could get something like that. Still could get a new contract for another player. Stuff can happen. Also, in a few hours here after the upload of this video, I'll be hopping on Demon Souls, starting a new game, new to me anyway, Demon Souls, the PS5 remaster, over on Twitch and Kick. So if you're not already following me over there, head on over. I will be starting Demon Souls. Should be sometime in the afternoon. Shouldn't be too late, and we'll just go through the first couple hours at least. So come check that out, and yeah, see you guys later. Go Hawks, and welcome back, Marquise Blair. I hope you do something. The fourth safety, at the very least, you're going to play special teams, right? Marquise Blair, he's got a decent amount of experience doing special team stuff. He was a special teamer as much as he was a defensive player in 2019. So even if that's all he does, special teams matters more now, right? Remember the kickoff rules? So if he goes out there and is an impact player and a meaningful player on special teams, then, that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. All right. Catch y'all later. And, yeah, welcome back.